Hey, good people, welcome to the channel. I'm Musically Malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. Today, we are listening to the 1973 album from Pink Floyd called The Dark Side of the Moon. Now, I probably somewhere along the way have heard a Pink Floyd song, but I could not name one, nor could I put my thumb on their sound. So I'm pretty excited. Always enjoy coming into something blind. I have obviously seen the cover art for this, the prism, the like black background with the prism and the light coming through it. It's a very famous cover art, album cover. So you can't exist in this world and have not seen it. And it's funny because when I was looking at something about kind of the album overview, it said that this album is kind of like puberty. No matter what, at some point, every human has to go through it. So here it is. This album is a Patreon pick. So over on Patreon, we have a ridiculous library of additional content from many artists, music videos, live performances, documentaries, live streams. And so one of the things that Patreon members do as well is they vote in the albums we listen to each and every Wednesday. So that's what this one is. I'm ready to get into it. I hope you are as well. Like always, we'll give the song a listen. I try not to interrupt. I might make a few comments, but we're going to let it play and we're going to absorb ourselves in the music. I'll keep some notes here on my handy dandy notepad, and after each song, we'll kind of dive into things that stand out to me, maybe look into the lyrics a little bit. So it'll be a good time. Let's go ahead and jump in. This is track number 1, titled Speak to Me. Okay, no lyrics on this one, so we'll be full screen here. Here we go. Oh, I feel good about this, guys. I'm really excited. Let's do it together. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, so there, I was like, is there no sound? It's kind of like a heartbeat. Oh, we're in for a ride. Okay, let's let it go, and then we'll look into that a little bit more on the tail end of this one. Didn't want to ruin the transition. Man, a really mellow introduction to this album. They're not in any rush. But I think this is their 8th studio album, so they're probably well established by this point.
choose your own ground. How you live and how you fly, smiles you'll give and tears you'll cry. And all you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. Run, rabbit, run. Dig that hole, get the sun. When at last the work is done, don't sit down, it's time to dig another one. How you live and how you fly, but only if you ride the tide. Balanced on the biggest wave, race to
Are all the songs going to flow into one another? Okay, to some extent it seems. Yeah, to some extent it seems like they are going to kind of flow into one another. So we'll play that by ear and try to be sensitive to that, but also wanting to look in. So let's go to this. So Speak to Me from track 1, first track from British progressive rock band Pink Floyd's 1973 album, The Dark Side of the Moon, on which it forms an overture. Drummer Nick Mason receives a rare solo writing credit for the track. Roger Waters subsequently claimed this was a gift to Mason, one which Waters came to regret after his acrimonious departure from the band. Oh. This song is extremely reminiscent of Ron Geeson's A Raise of Eyebrows, which was released in 1967. A few years before, Ron Geeson worked with Pink Floyd on Adam Hart, Mother, which was itself a few years before release of The Dark Side of the Moon. On radio cuts, Speak to Me is often combined with Breath or Breathe in the Air, called Speak to Me / Breathe. Okay, that's interesting. Waters told Uncut in 2003, it's kind of a classical overture, a standard device used for hundreds of years, put some elements of the work together at the beginning as a taster. Interesting. Okay, let's go check out track 2 here. As the continuation to the album's opening track, Speak to Me, which seamlessly segues into Breathe, it is the first time we hear any lyrics. This track is loosely based off Roger Waters' and Ron Geeson's performance on Breathe, a track made and recorded for the 1970 documentary The Body. What is The Body? Oh, cool. Hold on, we got to chase this a little bit. 1970 documentary, The Body. Looks wild. The Body, scientific documentary film directed and produced by Roy Battersby. In the film, external and internal cameras are used to showcase the human body. Wait. What? So like actual body internals from cameras? Includes songs were made by using the human body as a medium. Waters is also the narrator of one scene. Interesting. Fun fact, there is I think a soccer brand, Human Silhouettes. Man, what am I thinking? What am I looking for? Let's do it this way. Soccer brand, man and woman sitting back to back silhouette. This, Kappa. Okay, this silhouette right here, when I was in like maybe 8th grade or something. I had a t-shirt with that on it that I wore to gym that I got from a soccer camp, and they made me go change because of, I guess, the woman's breasts in the silhouette. I changed out and everything, and they sent me back to the locker room, and I had to put on the shirt I was wearing that day. That's just what that movie made me think of. Okay, this version saw no help from Geeson, a composer who previously worked on Atom Heart Mother. This song is credited to David Gilmour, Richard Wright, and Roger Waters. The song takes heavy advantage of the Univibe guitar foot pedal. Okay, I was wondering if there was like a vibraphone or something in there, but it's this, the guitar foot pedal. Phaser, performed by Gilmour, the longtime guitarist for Pink Floyd. He later released an acoustic cover on his album Live in Gdansk. During the recording of a classic album's documentary for the album, Richard Wright explained how the track's keyboard was inspired by what is widely considered one of the best jazz albums of all time. Interesting thing about this song is it totally down to a chord I had heard on actually Miles Davis's album Kind of Blue. That chord I just loved. So there's a documentary for the album. I mean, I would think so. So yeah, like every other album that we go through, any music videos or live performances that we can find, and obviously an album that has a standing like this one, I would assume there's some good documentaries on. That'll be over on Patreon, so keep an eye out for that. It'll be fun to go through. All right, let's get back into it. We'll try to start this one over. No lyrics on this one either. This is, well, there might be lyrics. There's no like lyric scroller. So we'll kind of keep hopping back and forth trying to feel that out. All right, here we go. On the Run. Okay, picking it up a little bit. I feel like we're in for a lot of interesting musical moments in this album. It is very like spacey. If you've been around the channel any length of time, you know I love ambient noise when it's brought into songs. It's like a person trying to catch a train or something. I'm already feeling like this has to have been a very progressive sound for the time. We just got back from Disney for spring break. Very like Space Mountain. Man, this album is an experience. Well, it makes sense. It's called On the Run. There was a person running in it. Mad Men. All right, let's let it roll. Is that the bass or like a baritone guitar?
Taking away the moments that make up a dull day. Fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way.
Oh, it's like real funky sound.
Not a piece of ground in your hometown. Waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch
Oh, it's such a smooth sound.
you are young and life is long, and there is time to kill today. And then one day you find 10 years have gone behind you. No one told you when to
Wow.
you miss the starting gun.
You gonna drop that on us and then give us some time to think about it? This is an album for sitting in the dark in a comfy chair. Oh, I gotta get this on vinyl.
softly spoken magic spell.
Okay. My goodness. This is the first time I feel like I've had a chance to like kind of breathe within this album. I had no clue, like I said, what to expect coming into this, but whatever my expectations were, this was not it. And obviously we've got lots more to go, and so they could lean more into, I guess, what my mind thinks of when I think classic rock, but this has been so smooth and so thought-provoking. And I love when somebody comes to an album, it is not just a collection of songs, right? That's kind of more like a mixtape or some sort of demo. And it's fine. I mean, different albums for different times and different ways, but like I really appreciate when somebody approaches an album that as far as we are right now in it just feels like there's this whole curated experience, almost like you've entered into a doorway and you need to pass through and emerge from the other side. It's almost the same like as the art, the prism, right? That you're kind of this one thing coming in, but as you pass through this prism, there's more that's revealed. Man, and some of the lines in there, like there are few words, little words, big impact in the message that he's sharing. Let's go take a look at it for a second. First, we'll hop back and see what's said about On the Run. The non-vocal On the Run is a standout with footsteps racing from side to side, successfully eluding any number of odd, malevolent rumbles and explosions, only to be killed off by the clock's ticking that leads into time. It says this piece was created by entering an 8-note sequence into a Synthi AKS synthesizer made by the British synthesizer manufacturer EMS and speeding it up, with an added white noise generator creating the hi-hat sound. The band then added backward guitar parts created by dragging a microphone stand down the fretboard, reversing the tape and panning left to right. There are also other Synthi and VCS3 synthesizer parts made to sound like a vehicle passing, giving a Doppler effect. Dude. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I was right in saying this was a very experimental for the time. Okay. This is the only track on the album, speaking of time, that credits all 4 members of the band. It's about how time can slip by, but many people do not realize it until it's too late. Roger Waters got the idea when he realized he was no longer preparing for anything in life, but was right in the middle of it at the age of 29. Whoa. The idea in time is a similar exhortation to breathe, to be here now. This is it. Make the most of it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking about within it. It is this almost idea of just watching life pass by and almost like waking up one day and just realizing like, whoa, I've been sleepwalking, which is one of my greatest fears in life, right? I want to live each day intentionally. And that could be, that needs to be, must be in the small things, not just the big things, in the quiet moments, in the monotony, fully engaged, purposeful, right? And obviously my mind floats most to my wife and my kids, instead of just waking up one day like, oh, what the heck have I been doing? Which, praise God for that, right? It's better that than to reach the end of your days and then realize you never woke up. And that's kind of what this song is a warning. And that's why I was saying a few words, little words, big impact. And they kind of drop these bars on you, these bombs on you, and then hit this instrumental stride that you just, that's what I'm saying. It's like sitting in the dark, just letting it play and letting it create these thoughts in you, this Meditation's not the word I'm looking for, but essentially, I don't know, the word is escaping me at the moment. Reflection, I think, is probably the best word for it. Doris Troy, Leslie Duncan, Lisa Strike, and Barry St. John sang on backing vocals, which were processed through an early pitch-changing device called a frequency translator. Ian Eames commissioned this animated film that was projected live during live performances of the song. It says almost every member on Pink Floyd has spoken up about the production or lyrical content of Time, except for keyboardist Richard Wright and Dark Side of the Moon engineer Alan Parsons. The idea in Time is a similar exhortation to breathe, to be here now. This is it, make the most of it. He, Alan Parsons, had just recently, before we did that album, gone out with a whole set of equipment and had recorded all these clocks in a clock shop. And we were doing the song Time, and he said, listen, I just did all these things. I did all these clocks. So we wheeled out his tape and listened to it and said, great, stick it on. And that actually is Alan Parsons' idea. Nick Mason said the drums used on the Time tracks are rototoms. I think we did some experiments with some other drums called boobans, which are very small, tuned drums, but the rototoms actually gave the best effects. Yeah, I was curious about that. They were sounded like very tight, almost bongo-like, but I guess they're just smaller, tight toms. They're great sound. The lines definitely hint at the notion of a transcending gathering of any kind. The bell and faithful evoke Christian churches, while the magic spell seem to reside in more pagan beliefs. I wonder what's said. I want to look at these lines about the bells. The tolling of a church bell is done during a funeral service. It's usually rung in slow succession. At funerals, everyone is depressed, sometimes falling to their knees as if to ask God why. Roger Waters is a known atheist, so it's possible Gilmore's performance here is a thinly veiled critique of religion, magic spells referring to a priest's words spoken at a funeral. This also segues to the next song, described by Richard Wright, about life gradually descending into death. Yeah, this one was big. Where's the one about nobody told you this? No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. Okay, here I am right now. Don't miss the starting gun, okay? No matter where you're at in life, okay? Doesn't matter how old you are, you can always have this moment, okay? No one can tell you when to run, but I can be here to remind you and to remind myself, let's not miss the starting gun, all right? It has started. Life has started. Don't watch it. Don't let it pass by. Grab hold of each and every small moment. Those make up the big moments. They make the big moments more meaningful. But take hold, all right? Hold the ones you love close to you. Make sure they know how much you care about them. And don't just tell them, show them. And then if you got a dream in your heart, listen, you may not be able to walk away immediately from whatever you're in or whatever job you're at or anything like that. But let this be the sign to just begin moving in the direction of the things that you really want, okay? It's never too late. Let that be your encouraging word for the day, all right? Let's get it together. Not like get it together, buddy, but let's get it together. Like, let's go together. Let's go after what it is that we want to take hold of together. Okay? All right, let's jump in to, what is this, track number 3? The Great Gig in the Sky.
should I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. You've got to go sometime.
Showing those musical chops, those vocal chops. I've never heard anything like this. Yeah, saying this album is something that has to be experienced, not listened to, is right on point. Let's let it roll. That's so interesting. I feel like I've heard this bass line.
get back. I'm alright, Jack. Keep your hands off of my stack. Money, it's a hit. Don't get me back to good bullshit. I'm in a high fidelity first class traveling section. I think I need a lift jet.
Oh, wow. Is that a saxophone? Or a clarinet? It's got some funk on it, I know that. It almost sounds like it has some processing on it. Like a little distortion. Oh! It's like a little jazz drumming. I can just picture them on stage. This is where the guitarist is looking back at the drummer, moving closer. And the drummer's just... Oh, this is so cool. Let's bring it down, boys. Bring it down.
Money, it's a crime. Share it fairly, but don't take a slice of my pie. Money, so they say, is the root of all evil today.
Oh, there's such a duplicity that he's sharing in this song.
Yes, absolutely right.
I certainly was in the right.
Is this sampled from a movie?
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time. He just told me it was in Put Into Number 2. He was asking why it wasn't coming up on 3011. So after I yelling and screaming and telling him why it wasn't coming up on 3011.
my gosh. This is a tricky album to navigate with all the transitions. So you guys just have to bear with me for the reaction, but just know I will be listening to this on my own, just all the way through. Okay, I understand why this album has the place that it has for so many. Here, so I'm trying to get to the... Okay, first let's look at the Great Gig in the Sky. 5th track. Features vocals by Claire Torrey. Song talks to the pressure of mortality on life, with the Great Gig in the Sky being a reference to heaven or an afterlife. I was trying to figure if they were pulling it from a film. Almost everyone involved in the song, with the exception of drummer Nick Mason, has commented about the production, offering different inputs and insights about how the song was created. Great Gig in the Sky, this is Richard Wright. It was just me playing in the studio, playing some chords, probably Dave or Roger saying, that sounds nice. Maybe we could use that for this part of the album. And then me going away and trying to develop it. So then I wrote the music for that. And then there was a middle bit with Claire Torrey singing that fantastic voice. We wanted something for that bit, and she came in and sang on it. Roger Waters said it was something that Rick had already written. It's a great sword chord. It's a great sword. It's a great sword. Great sword sequence. Where were we? Okay. It's a great chord sequence, the Great Gig in the Sky, and the piano part on Us and Them, in my view, are the best things that Rick did. They're both really beautiful. And Alan suggested Claire Torrey. I have no idea whose idea it was to have someone wailing on it. Claire came into the studio one day and we said, there are no lyrics. It's about dying. Have a bit of a sing on that, girl. I think she only did one take and we all said, wow, that's that done. Here's her 60 quid. What is 60 quid? Let's go on an adventure together. 60 quid in US dollars. $81.39. So then let's do this. Inflation calculator. And this was in 1973. Let's just say January, that's fine. $630.89 for one take. You go, girl. Not a bad day's wage. Tori had done a covers album. I can remember that she did a version of Light My Fire. I just thought she had a great voice. When the situation came up, they started head scratching, saying, who are we going to get to sing on this? I said, I got an idea. I know this girl. She came, and in a couple of hours, it was all done. She had to be told not to sing any words. When she first started, she was doing, oh yeah, baby, and all that kind of stuff. So she had to be restrained on that. But there was no real direction. She just had to feel it. Claire Torrey didn't really look the part. She was Alan Parsons' idea. We wanted to put a girl on there screaming orgasmically. Alan had worked with her previously, so we gave her a try. And she was fantastic. We had to encourage her a little bit. We gave her some dynamic hints. Maybe you'd like to do this piece quietly and this piece louder. She did maybe half a dozen takes. Then afterwards, we compiled the final performance out of all the bits. It wasn't done in one single take. Interesting. I went in, put the headphones on, and started going, ooh, ah, baby, baby, yeah, yeah, yeah. They said, no, we don't want that. If we wanted that, we'd have got Doris Troy. They said, try some longer notes. So I started doing that a bit. And all this time, I was getting more familiar with the backing track. That was when I thought, maybe I should just pretend I'm an instrument. So I said, start the track again. One of my most enduring memories is that there was a lovely headphone balance. Alan Parsons got a lovely sound on my voice, echoey but not too echoey. When I closed my eyes, which I always did, it was just all enveloping. A lovely vocal sound, which for a singer is always inspirational. Claire Torrey. There you go. Is she still alive? 78 years old. You go, girl. All right, let's check out Money. Money. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah, what was standing out to me in the song Money is it felt like there was one side trying to have a more like pure view of money, kind of pushing it away, get it away from me type thing, while the other was coming in as almost the opposing idea of you almost have the person that's not in love with money and the person that is in love with money. And he even says, you know, they say that money is the root of evil, which obviously comes from a biblical line, but the actual verse is the love of money is the root of all evil. And something like by pursuing it, many have plunged themselves into many sorrows, I think is around what it says, which tracks, you know, this love, lust, thirst for more. So take it outside of just money, just more has driven so many into sorrow, versus money just being a tool, being a resource, and having a proper view of it and how to use it, how to be generous, how to be frugal, all those things together. Written by Roger Waters, opened side 2 of the original vinyl, only song on the album to enter the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. Really? Money is particularly notable for its unusual 7/4 time signature throughout most of the song, its distinctive bass line, and the 7-beat loop of money-related sound effects that opens the track. Coins clinking, a cash register ringing, which I'm sure they'll talk about in here. So Roger Waters said, "Money interested me enormously. I remember thinking, well, this is it, and I have to decide whether I'm really a socialist or not. I'm still keen on a general welfare society, but I became a capitalist. You have to accept it. I remember coveting a Bentley like crazy. The only way to get something like that was through rock or the football pools. I very much wanted all that material stuff." Rogers came up with the idea. Nick Mason helped him create the sound during the demo stage. In his autobiography, Mason explained how the process was carried out. "I drilled holes in old pennies and then threaded them onto strings. They gave one sound on the loop of 7. Roger had recorded coins swirling around in the mixing bowl his then wife Judy used for her pottery." That's so interesting. These guys are like Foley artists. In an interview with Louder Sound, David Gilmour said, "I knew there had to be a song about money in the piece, and I thought the tune could be about money." Says Waters, "Having decided that, it was extremely easy to make up a 7-beat intro that went well with it. Roger and I constructed the tape loop for Money in our home studio, then took it to Abbey Road." I recognize that name. "I had drilled holes in old pennies and threaded them onto strings. They gave one sound and loop. Roger recorded coins." Okay, that's what they said. "The tearing paper effect was created by very simply in front of a microphone, and the faithful sound library supplied the cash registers." Yeah, we always used to play this joke in school. And you'd grab somebody's paper that was important, and you'd turn around and go, make it sound like you were tearing paper. And then you'd go, "Oh, just kidding." Unless you were that one kid that didn't know when to stop and he was like, actually tore it. Okay. Here we go. Track number 6. Us and Them.
Heavy blow sorted the matter out. You just tell me.
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time.
I love albums that do this. I'm curious if every song kind of moves into the next. For the most part, they have up to this point, I believe. This is about war.
And after all, we're only ordinary men. And God only knows it's not what we would choose to do.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Forward we cry from the rear and the front rank died. General sack and the lines on the map. Black, 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 and blue.
Oh, this made me emotional.
And who knows which is which, and who is who. Up, 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 and down, 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 down. And in the end,
It's so well said.
it's only round and round, round, round and round, 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 round. Haven't you heard? It's a battle of words. Most of them listen, son, said the man with the gun. There's room for you inside.
They're gonna kill you. So like, if you give them a quick, short, sharp shock, they don't do it again. Dig it. I mean, he got off like, because I could have given him a thrashing, like, he did it once. So the difference in like how long in it. I mean, good manners don't cost nothing, do they? Hey.
It might give us some insights when we look into it, but it almost sounds like somebody giving instructions on how to use a bayonet or a knife, like to harm another person. Okay, man. Yeah, it is such a melancholy type album. And so I'd be curious, obviously, from their other albums, if they have songs where they're really like fast and pushing it, maybe even still within this album, or if their style is more reserved normally. But goodness, it's funny because even with a song like this, and it crosses into really big questions, big conversations about war. And there are many sides to that, right? Because you can make an argument for war in the sake of safety, because unfortunately there are people out there who have no good intentions whatsoever, who want to harm, who want to conquer, who want to suppress. And I think those forces need to be fought against. And unfortunately, sometimes that is through war. Then you have sides that parade as noble, but don't truly have noble means. They will. It's a propaganda to an extent, right? And I'm not foolish enough to think that hasn't existed and may not still exist within my own country in America. Those that will tell us, I mean, this is the whole thing from like even 9/11, that everybody rallies around this idea. But, in years since, we all look back and we're like, man, I don't think we were being told the truth. I think we're being fed a lot of lies and rallied around this national pride of fighting back against a force that fought against us or attacked us. And like, how much of that is true? How much, it gets so confusing. And so, that's the thing, is you'd like to reach use diplomatic means to solve certain problems, real problems that I think most of us could unite around. And then there are some that just will not allow that to be the case. And then there are plenty of wars fought for foolish reasons. And was watching Shrek last night with my kids, and there's a moment Lord Farquaad is basically, because the whole point is that he's sending someone to go rescue this princess, Fiona, and Shrek rolls into the kingdom and he's got all these knights and stuff, and he tells them that I'm sending you off on a noble quest and it may cost your life, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. And it's just this funny thing, kind of in the sense of this song, like sending men off to die. And it's like, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. I'm not the one going to die, but I know others will have to die for, whatever means I'm trying to reach. So it's a really meaningful messages in these songs. Hold on, this is the wrong track. In the context of Dark Side of the Moon album, as a catalog of the pressure on life, this song is about the senselessness of war. Began as a piano piece Rick Wright came up with while working on the soundtrack to the 1970 movie Zabriskie Point. It didn't make the soundtrack, but they worked with it at the Dark Side of the Moon sessions, and it eventually became this song. The director of Zabriskie Point, Michelangelo Antonioni, rejected the song for being beautiful, but too sad. Makes me think of church. The song is about binaries, black and white, us and them, cats and dogs. It criticizes the cut and dry narrative that is given in a time of war. Yes, exactly. That's kind of what I was saying. Good, bad, right, wrong. And a lot of times that's just not the case. That we're led to believe that's the case. But that's where the propaganda comes in. This song reveals that we're all just ordinary people. When one takes a deeper look, war is senseless death. Roger Waters, who plays the bass, stated the combination of Gilmore Wright's voices in the chorus is a beautiful thing. He also stated that ever since the song was created, he has found himself in the role of a producer, advising artists to leave homes in songs to let lyrics breathe, as happens in the verses, where Gilmore will sing on half a bar and then leave a bar and a half empty. Yeah, it's something I've definitely noticed in this album. They give you lots of space. The first verse is about going to war, how on the front line we don't get much chance to communicate with one another because someone else has decided that we shouldn't. The second verse is about civil liberties, racism, color prejudice. The last verse is about passing a tramp in the street and not helping. Really? Yeah, okay. And it is a saxophone. Oh, gosh. Really thoughtful song, man. Okay. Next track seems like an instrumental. Any color you like. What is that low note? On the bass is so good. Is that like a tuba? All right, let's let it roll.
The lunatic is on the grass. The lunatic is on the grass. Remembering games and daisy chains and laughs. Got to keep the loonies on the path. The lunatic is in the hall. The lunatics are in my hall. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor. And every day the paper boy brings more. And if the dam breaks open many years too soon,
They're so good at coming into these big moments.
upon the hill,
The kind of choir.
and if your head explodes with dark forebodings too, I'll see you on the dark
And
side
there it is.
of the moon.
Her voices are really beautiful.
The lunatic is in my head. The lunatic.
All these small decisions are so good.
You raise the blade. You make the change. You rearrange me till I'm sane. You lock the door and throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. And if the cloud bursts, thunder in your ear, you shout and no one seems to hear. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
I can't wait to look into that. Oh, we gotta let it go. Jeez.
All that you touch and all that you see, all that you taste, all you feel, and all that you love and all that you hate, all you distrust, all you save, and all that you give, and all that you deal, and all that you buy, beg, borrow,
Oh, this is the closing.
and all you create, and all you destroy, and all that you do, and all that you say, and all that you eat, and everyone you meet, and all that you slight, and everyone you fight, and all that is now, and all that is gone, and all that's to come. And everything under the sun is in June, but the sun is eclipsed by the moon.
There is no dark side in the moon, really.
just going to fade out, which loops straight back to the beginning. Dude. Won't be needing those for a moment. Okay. Man. That was like a whirlwind and not all at the same time. I can't wait to listen back through that. Let's go catch up on a few things here. I think we got to go all the way back to Any Color You Like. An instrumental track featuring keyboard guitar solos, no lyrics or sound clips, but many can interpret the song's message to be, you are the master of your universe, your own destiny, so make it any color you like. Ironically, the actual meaning of the title is the complete opposite. It refers to the illusion of choice. This is the only Pink Floyd track with songwriting credits to the trio, David Gilmour, Nick Mason, Richard Wright, before Wright's death in 2008. 2014's Endless River album featured many posthumous tracks. It was composed and recorded while Roger Waters was away on the holidays. Therefore, the bass track is one that was recorded for Breathe. In the album's tablature book, it is even listed as Breathe Second Reprise, due to the fact that the chord sequence is nearly the same but transposed down from E minor to D minor. Okay. Roger Waters said, in Cambridge where I lived, people would come from London in a van, a truck, open the back and stand on the tailboard of the truck. And the truck's full of stuff that they're trying to sell. And they have a very quick and slick patter. And they're selling things like crockery, china, sets of knives and forks, all kinds of different things. And they sell it very cheap with a patter. They tell you what it is, and they say it's 10 plates, lady, and it's this, that, and the other. 8 cups and saucers. And for the lot, I'm asking not 10 pounds, not 5 pounds, not 3 pounds, 50 bob to you. And they get rid of this stuff like this. If they had sets, so it's like eBay. If they had sets of china and they were all the same color, they would say, you can have 'em 10 bob to you, love. Any color you like, they're all blue. And that was just part of that patter. So metaphorically, any color you like is interesting in that sense because it denotes offering a choice where there is none. It's like manipulation. It's also interesting that in the phrase, any color you like, they're all blue. I don't know why, but in my mind, it's always they're all blue, which, if you think about it, relates very much to the light and dark, sun and moon, good and evil. You make your choice, but it's always blue. Dude. Great songwriters are so interesting. I talk a lot on this channel about the vehicle in which a song is delivered. And even this one is an instrumental. Like, that much thought and intention going into something and the story that it comes from and the way it evokes this imagery and sound within his mind, their minds. It's so fun to learn and think about that and hopefully like grab onto some of that. I've been trying to do that actively as I've been kind of pursuing some music creation. I've been just running through things in my life, scenarios in my day, things I come across, small things, big things, and trying to think like, man, what's a thread through that, a message? How can you write a song out of something like that? Brain Damage is the 9th track, sung by Roger Waters. David Gilmour took over as lead vocalist when the band performed it live on the band's 1994 tour, as can be seen on Pulse. The band originally called this track Lunatic during live performances and recording sessions. It's often played back-to-back with the final track, Eclipse. Roger Waters stated that the insanity-themed lyrics are based on former frontman Syd Barrett's mental instability, with the line, "I'll see you on the dark side of the moon," indicating he felt related to him in terms of mental idiosyncrasies. Roger Water revealed, I wrote brain damage at home. The grass mentioned in the lyric was the square in between the River Cam and King's College Chapel in Cambridge. The lunatic was Syd Barrett. Really, he was obviously in my mind. Well, we're going to have to learn more about them through some documentaries and stuff. Let's see what this says. It's his nature to be mad. He is the lunatic in his head. Raise the blade, make the change refers to society changing him. But the point of the verse is, who decides whether he's a lunatic or not? Is anyone who has a different mentality than society mad or a lunatic? Wow. Like if you go against the grain, you're called a lunatic, but are you really? Society locks the door on him, puts him in an asylum to change him and programs him to the way they want him to be. Then someone referred to in the line, there's someone in my head, but it's not me, as the person society implemented. Yeah, I picked up on that. Society implemented in him to replace his natural self, just so he can fit in with their mentality and thoughts. Notice the sad tone at the end meaning. He's sad that they changed him. I was curious about this. It seems like newspapers, as suggested by clips played on the big screen behind the band in concerts, this refers to the big politicians who act as lunatics, the ones we see every day in our newspapers. This is also suggested in Fletcher Memorial Home song and Final Cut album. That song calls these lunatics as overgrown infants. Man. Okay, let's take a look at Eclipse. Eclipse is the 10th and final track. Roger Waters, as the climax of the album, Eclipse highlights simply that the summation of everything you are, as much as it matters to you, as hard as it is to get it all in tune, eventually it's eclipsed by the moon, i.e. not really important at all. Eclipse also became the title track of the album. Nicholas Schaffner's book explains that while the band was writing Dark Side of the Moon, the group Medicine Head released an album by that title. Oh. As a result, Floyd was considering naming their album Eclipse after this song. It wasn't until the Medicine Head album flopped that the group took the original title back. No, all right, we're good. In a 1987 interview, Roger Waters commented on the meaning behind the final two lines. I don't see it as a riddle. The album uses the sun and the moon as symbols, the light and the dark, the good and the bad, the life force as opposed to the death force. I think it's a very simple statement saying that all the good things life can offer are there for us to grasp, but that the influence of some dark force in our natures prevents us from seizing them. The song addresses the listener and says that if you, the listener, are affected by that force, and if that force is a worry to you, well, I feel exactly the same too. The line, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon, is me speaking to the listener, saying, I know you have these bad feelings and impulses because I do too. One of the ways I can make direct contact with you is to share with you the fact that I feel bad sometimes. And it's true. One of the most comforting things to people, not that because, I'm of the opinion that we do need to seek to better ourselves. And I think we can all understand and agree upon certain principles. Now, for me, and I'm very open on this channel, I'm a Christian. So a lot of my principles are drawn from Scripture, and it's never failed me. So even Galatians 5, the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. All of those things are what I pursue. And I think that most everybody can look on those things and say, whether you would call yourself a Christian or atheist or whatever, can look at those things and say, yeah, those are good pursuits of people, to do well to others, and all the other many principles. But as we pursue that person that we're working to become, sometimes it's very comforting for people to hear, yeah, me too. Like, yeah, I go through that too. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not there. I haven't made it. Because I think a lot of times when we feel certain ways, we feel sequestered, we feel alone. We feel like we're the only one experiencing what we're experiencing. And in saying, yeah, I feel that way too, is not to belittle how you feel, right? I mean, sometimes that kick in the pants is needed, the perspective. But most of the time when it's shared, it's not like, hey, get over it. I got problems too. It's more like, wait, Yeah, no, I feel the same way. And in that shared struggle, I think it can sometimes release the dam to move forward because you stop feeling so alone, or that you're like the oddball out. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to sit with this album, listen through it again, because there's just such poignant messages in here, and it really is. I mean, I've said it many times. This album is an experience, and they obviously crafted it that way, leaving space for thought. These experimental sounds, the tracks bleeding into one another, the cyclical nature in which they built the album. So I'm gonna have to get this on vinyl, but I'm so glad that I went through puberty. If you weren't here at the beginning of the video, I was commenting that somebody said this album's like pure puberty, that everybody has to go through it at some point. So that's what I'm referring to. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on any of these, anything that you want to add to it. I'm looking forward to getting into content over on Patreon. I'm sure we can find, again, some good documentaries, things like that. But thank you for being with me. If you've made it this far, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you, talk with you. It's one of my favorite things, interacting with you guys in the comments. And I would love if you would consider possibly coming and joining us on Patreon. Obviously on this channel, I don't earn any revenue through these. These are all copyright, but Patreon is a way that I put a lot of effort there and trying to build a great community over there. But it's one of the best ways you can support the channel, as well as, you know, get access to a lot of additional content. So would love for you to consider checking that out and being a part of that family over there. Okay, that was a little sappy, but thanks for being here. Thanks for experiencing this with me. I'll see you in the comments. And until next time, keep it real. We're eating good.